Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Now, I gotta say, when multiple XRP chart analysts start predicting that there's about to be a God candle, that catches my attention. When multiple analysts are using, using the term God candle specifically, I'm telling you, the analysts that I follow, they don't incessantly bull post 24/7, 365. They bull post when it makes sense to bull post on social media, and it is at a fevered pitch at this point. And you could still call it the calm before the storm, because this is the moment before we see Bitcoin break out for its final parabolic move, and then the altcoins, of course, will follow. XRP, I think, is going to continue to be the darling of the show for the remainder of this cycle. In particular, if you're looking at the top 100 coins by market cap, it is number one right now since the election. That's probably going to persist. But what's amazing is all this is the case. Everything's so perfectly aligned, and like nobody's paying attention. I mean, you guys are, but just wait. I mean, I've been through this before. Wait till the masses come in and everybody's Googling Bitcoin and XRP, and then they can't get their money in fast enough, and then all the exchanges are onboarding ridiculous quantities of new humans that don't know anything about this most volatile crypto asset class on the planet, but they're just throwing their money in at everything. They're chasing green candles, including XRP. Like, that's what's next here. That is absolutely what's next. And it's kind of a rite of passage. Like, that's the entrance fee coming in, perhaps at a stupid time, but then you learn. Like, I came in at the end of 2017, right before the parabolic blow-off tops. Like, I've been there. I'm just saying there's going to be a new batch here. And a lot of them are going to learn the hard way. The smart ones will take more measured moves. But that's what's next. It's going to go completely crazy. And by the way, this has been a really exciting day. Do you know how much stuff has happened today? There's plenty to break down here, but this is going to be a very XRP heavy video. In terms of chart analysis, I got all sorts of commentary and perspective from tons of reputable chart analysts here, but what you're going to see is their expectations are, it's about to go. They don't know when, because you can't, no matter how great but they firmly believe it's about to happen for good reason. Before going further though, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, as I record this video, it is 10:32 p.m. Central Time, which is my time zone, Thursday, January 3rd, 2025. XRP is $2.24, Bitcoin at $109,365. But look at this 24-hour chart. XRP got up to $2.31. In Bitcoin, it's a little bit of break earlier. 110,000, just about $500 actually. 110,500 we'll call it. Do you want to know why? Because it turns out it's not the end of the world. Despite the last several months, the number of things that popped up. I mean, actually just a few that made people think it was the end of the world. It's just ridiculous. It's never the actual end of the world, okay? Look at this headline from the AP. House passes Trump's signature bill, sending it to the president's desk. Okay, I will not be opining on this in terms of political commentary, because that's not what the hell this channel's for. I don't care if you agree or disagree with me on politics. That's fine. We can and should be friends. It just doesn't matter. The degree to which I'll opine on anything having to do with politics is only insofar as it pertains specifically to finance, the economy, so on and so forth, crypto, obviously. And so here, this is something that's notable. So whether you think the bill is good or bad, for the purposes of this channel, I don't care. You're cool. Whatever you think, sure, you're right. I don't care. But I will tell you that the market likes it. And why specifically does the market like it? Well, there's one very obvious reason. It's because there would have been massive tax hikes on most regular Americans had this thing not ultimately gone through. That would have been very bad, and that actually would have harmed the economy. And so markets like, oh, okay, so that's not happening. We know that now. And markets absolutely rallied. Now, the president does still have to sign this, presumably. It seems obvious. He'd be waiting to do this tomorrow, July 4th, America Day, Independence Day. So that's one thing here that we got. But then there's also this. Dow jumps more than 300 points S&P 500 sets new record after strong June jobs report. Remember when tariffs were going to make it so that we didn't have an economy anymore? That's what the doom speaker said months ago. Remember that? Yeah, it turns out that was stupid as hell. Like I insisted, that was never going to happen. Okay, so here's where we actually are. People freaked out in April, and the Dow, or not the Dow, the S&P 500. I don't remember what the Dow was, but the S&P 500, I know it got down to around 4950 or something like that. We damn near hit 6300 today. That's a huge percentage gain in traditional finance. You rarely see that. And so all the people that panic sold, too bad, so sad. Don't invest with your feels and don't think you can outsmart the market. You know, don't bet against the long-term viability of the United States economy. It's probably not going to go well for you. So here we are, and market surging. And this is great. You know why? Because risk on assets get treated the same. Just like this. So they're treating the stock market this way. Crypto is jumping at the same time. Just, you'll love to see it. This is the environment that you want to see. If you want your XRP to be worth a fortune, this is what the hell you want to be seeing. That's for damn sure. You know what else you want to see is what the hell is on your screen right now. This is incredible. This is from Cointelegraph, reported this morning. Global M2 money supply hits a new all-time high of $55.48 trillion. Will Bitcoin follow? Oh, I don't know, will it? Yes, the answer is yes. Spoiler alert, yes, Bitcoin will follow, along with the rest of the crypto asset class. It has been following for over a decade now. Directionally, it moves with, Bitcoin does move with global M2 directionally close to 90% of the time, okay? So there are going to be periods where it doesn't look like it, and if you super zoom in, then it won't look attached, so... But here's the thing, and so you can see global M2, that's the white line here. It's been increasing for some time. Bitcoin has roughly a 12-week lag time. Wait till that son of a gun catches up. Whew. It's coming. That's why he's pointing up here at Bitcoin closer to like $170,000, $180,000. And if it gets that high, I can only imagine what that means for altcoins like XRP. Oh man, it's going to get crazy. So anyway, yes, we already knew that we were in new all-time high territory with M2. Just happened again. At some point, it's going to peak, and then Bitcoin will continue to follow. In fact, you know what? Bitcoin can rip to the upside. Even as M2 slows down, frankly, and it'll stop matching the pace. So even actually, I'll say this: even if M2 is still going up, Bitcoin, in terms of correlation, even given the 12-week lag time, Bitcoin can go so parabolic for certain periods that you're like, oh, the correlation's broken. That's how parabolic Bitcoin can go. And it has. And then when that happens, alt season follows. That's why this is exciting. Here's a post from TechDev. He shared this with his 532,000 followers on X. He said, 4 top signals in Bitcoin's history. That's Bitcoin up top, of course. It says each corresponded to a top. Nowhere near one. 4 launch signals in Bitcoin's history. Everyone sent it parabolic. That's the one that just triggered. So I know not everybody looks at the screen when you're absorbing these Moonlimbo hot jams, which is okay. I mean, I don't watch everything. Like I have all sorts of podcasts on that are in video form that it's just in my pocket though. I'm like, I'm walking or I'm driving, whatever it may be. If you can look at your screen, if you're not, it would be fun to take a gander here. We just hit the little bit, you can see the bumps he's highlighted here going back since basically the inception of Bitcoin, since its creation. We're at the point, this is the final point right before Rocket here. Like, one more thing, just add it to the pile, folks. Here's a post from chart analyst Crypto Michael. It says Bitcoin is just 3% away from the most significant breakout in history. You're either bullish or you're wrong. That's the simple truth. The entire crypto market will pump with extreme velocity. Every short position will get liquidated. Every single one. I don't doubt it. I actually really don't doubt that at all. We are about there. And by the way, here's what he had to say in July of last year. Crypto Michael here, same guy that I just shared that post with, he was insisting throughout all of 2024, and rightfully so, that XRP was going to just rip to the upside and just surprise so many people, which is what happened. It absolutely did. And so he's pointing back to this. This is the symmetrical triangle that took like freaking 7 years just about to break out here. And so this is July. He didn't know, and you can't know when this thing's going to break out. You just, when you see the parameters, you can see what's in play. And I talked about it in July at the time. I was like, guys, I don't know if it's right now, today. And I said the same thing a year ago. It's like, I don't know if XRP is going to break out today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter. Maybe it'll be after the election. It was after the election. This is what I was saying even here. It's the same thing I'm saying now. I said, this is the environment where you should expect XRP to start going. Now, we did have to wait from that point a few months. And in theory, we could here too. Frankly, I'd be a little more surprised if we have to wait like several months at this point based on the way things are lining up. And if you've been watching my videos in recent days and weeks, you know why. But he was right about this. And so July 16th last year, he posted, XRP historic breakout incoming. In all my years of trading crypto, I have never seen a 7-year-long bull pennant. We might be about to witness one of the most significant breakouts in history. Well, he was right. See, and a good analyst isn't always going to try and predict time, because no analyst can consistently predict time, because, as I always state, even if you know and you've properly identified a chart formation, it can go a little faster or slower than it has at other times historically. You just can't know. But you do see here, you're getting closer and closer to the apex of these trend lines. Bad boy was going to break out, and it sure as hell did. So he was right about that, wasn't he? Well, here's what he just said this morning. He said, the next XRP leg up will be extremely parabolic. Slowly, slowly, then all at once. Consolidation is complete. Launch is imminent. So, I've been following him a while now. He's optimistic because we're in a bull market. It makes sense to have, optimistic posts. He doesn't always post quite that strongly. Consolidation, like he doesn't say it all the time. Consolidation is complete. No, it's because he thinks it's complete now. That jumped out at me because he doesn't normally say such a thing. The consolidation that we've been in for basically this whole year after XRP hit a new all-time high, it's done, he says. Launch is imminent. Now, of course, he's not promising it's today, tomorrow, next week, so on and so forth, like I just stated. Same from a year ago. But this is the moment. You're living in the moment. This isn't just me that thinks this. You are living in the moment where any day this could just go. Like it's going to. Like it's going to. He's not the only one that thinks that. Look at this post from Chart Analyst World of Charts. This is from this morning. XRP breakout and retest has already confirmed, expecting move towards $3 in coming days. And folks, he doesn't think it's going to stop there. He's just saying to get the party moving again. Get kind of a little rejuvenated. Spike the punch, Here's a post from XR Punky. It says XRP monthly candle. And this is also from this morning. Very soon we will move away from the low $2-ish range. God candle printing soon. If you are still bearish on XRP, no one can help you. Well, let me tell you, I've never been more bullish on XRP, and for good reason. Gotta love a good God candle post. And these guys don't always just say God candle. That's the type of stuff that, and I highlight, like even last year, think about it. There are a few instances where that term would be used when it's appropriate from this batch of chart guys. But it happened late last year when XRP was going crazy, and early this year when XRP was going crazy. Sometimes it's appropriate to acknowledge we're about to see a God candle. This is a moment where it makes sense to acknowledge we're about to see another freaking God candle. Here's a post from Mikey Bull Crypto. He sure as hell agrees, because he quite literally said, and I quote, another God candle loading for XRP, end quote. That was also from this morning. You see the trend here, folks? Here's a post from Crypto Wizard, XRP chart. It says, send it higher. And this, oh, by the way, this is from this afternoon, 1:45 p.m. Send it higher. My God, it's identical. Back in 2017, after the first initial rally, XRP formed a pennant pattern before exploding higher. It's going the exact same thing again. Keep doubting, you'll be left behind. And you can see what he's talking about here. He's calling this the pennant pattern right here. And this is what I've been talking about for years right now. I talked about a fair bit this year and a lot last year, so you can kind of get used to based on historic precedent, what we should expect. Each of the last 2 cycles, XRP had a first major pump, then it moved sideways for about half a year, broke some people's hope, and then out of nowhere, just rocketed again. So he's noting the same thing is happening. So right here in 2017, where I'm moving my mouse, he says, we are here. Exactly. I mean, technically, this is where we are on the chart, but you get what he means. He's saying it's the same type of moment. So this bit here, yet to come, yet to come. And in terms of the dollar increase, this is the exciting part. The second pump, in terms of dollar gains, dwarfs the first pump. It did last cycle and the cycle before that. That's just a fact. So, knowing that history typically rhymes with itself, I wouldn't be bearish here. Here's a post from Crypto Insight UK from this morning. XRP watching for this to potentially catalyze a bigger breakout / signal the start of a move. And he's just highlighting some key levels here, $2.30, $2.55. And everybody's got their own ideas of, what the most important levels are to watch for a major break. That's in the realm of what I'm seeing from lots of analysts. All right, and here's a post from the blockchain backer. He was sharing his most recent video. And, so he pointed out in his video, anytime Bitcoin is in true expansion, which is what we saw after the 2024 election, by the way, that was definitely true expansion. In those moments, it's true the alt season responded and XRP, darling of the show, I got it. But looking back, was that an actual alt season? Well, no, I don't think many people would argue that now. Some may have thought that it was, maybe mistakenly that it was. And also, and I give people some slack on this because, and I understand what the arguments are, because it depends on how you define that. And it's not like there's some institution out there that says what it is. It's not like you can go to Merriam-Webster and type in alt season and it'll know what that is, and then it'll define the parameters for that. So it's subjective. And so I always show a bit of grace on that. And so there were some analysts that were thinking, yeah, it's alt season. I was like, oh, well, maybe they're right. Even I was like, I don't know, maybe this is, we'll see. Because I'm not a chart guy myself here. It was not, looking back. But the cool thing here, so you can get a final parabolic leg up, has happened in the first half of 2020. Well, specifically, if you think about Bitcoin, whenever it topped, whatever month it was, April or May. But, that's pretty much it. That's the end. So if it becomes obvious that we're in alt season, and you'll know it when it's there, you'll really know it. I don't think anybody's going to doubt it when that happens. Just be clear, that's historically a top indicator for Bitcoin. And then alts go, and then they're going to have their tops. So that will mean that the party's almost over. I will be warning you guys of that. So some people are going to get mad because I'm saying, well, these are top indicators, and people, especially people that don't know, and if they're new to crypto, they'll have undeserved confidence and tell me that I'm an idiot. I'm a poo-poo head because obviously what are you talking about? The money's flowing in. It's going to keep going. What do you mean, Moon Lambo? Stupid name, Moon Lambo. That's what they'll say, and it will hurt my feelings very deeply. I'm very thin-skinned, as you well know. So that's going to happen, and I'm not going to give a frickin' damn. They're going to be wrong. I'm going to say what I say, and people can scream at me on the internet because that's what the internet was designed for screaming at people, and it is a good time. I don't deny that's the right purpose for the internet. But I'm still going to warn you because that's the right thing to do. So, if that's happening, if we see that happening, again, we'll be sounding the alarm, but, there will be people calling for $300,000 Bitcoin. I just won't believe it. I think that's highly improbable. But, the blockchain backer also noted that, another way to tell if we're in the final price surge for Bitcoin is that even though price will be going up, and I talk about this too, we should expect Bitcoin dominance to be falling. So if all of these things are happening, even if Bitcoin's going up and you see dominance falling, especially if altcoins start going crazy, it couldn't be more obvious. That's the recipe for the end of the cycle, folks. So it can last for a little bit. It's not like it means that day, oh my God, we got to panic and stuff. I'm not saying that, but you're very close to the end at that point. And so the blockchain backer said if dominance is not falling, and this is the interesting part, one of the interesting parts, If dominance for Bitcoin is not falling, then he'd have to reevaluate what he thinks is likely to occur, actually, which made it sound to me anyway, and like at that point, if that should occur, he might be willing to consider the idea of Bitcoin going even higher to some degree, because what I've seen from him is he's expecting Bitcoin to top between 120 and I think he said like $135,000, something like that. So we'll see, but he's fully optimistic. The best is yet ahead. He still thinks XRP is going to peak perhaps into double digits. Yeah, it's going to get completely bananas. Here's a post from Chart Analyst. Zoom XRP order book update. Once $2.32 and $2.60 breaks, new all-time highs could come swiftly. So another analyst that thinks in the short term, there's a really good chance we're back in a new all-time high territory. So that means $3.40 plus for XRP. And it does happen fast. It seems like it's never going to move, but you remember November, you guys were there, right? Probably about 100% of you were there. So fast is the answer. And this is going to be even faster. I would anticipate. Certainly. Well, think about it. So if we're going to have a bigger price move in terms of dollars, even if it lasts like roughly the same time period as what we saw after the election, you're going to see faster price movements then. Even if it were the same time period, the movements will be faster because they'll be much more substantial. Here's a post from chart analyst Ali Martinez from this afternoon. XRP appears to be forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern, potentially setting the stage for a 15% breakout to $2.65. Yet another analyst, and these are all today, right? I think every single one I've shown you is today, right? Well, okay, the one before is from yesterday, but still. It's all new stuff, though, is the point. Are they all just wrong? These good analysts that have great track records, like, okay. Yeah, I don't think they're wrong. Chart analyst Steph is crypto. He's sharing this particular symmetrical triangle, and he has been updating it consistently. He says XRP breakout coming. He's not changing his tune. He doesn't know when it's going to happen, but nobody does, and that's fine. This is the moment. So, like, the post is fine. He keeps posting effectively the same thing. I'm like, it's true though. Like, it's true though. I'm not going to hate that. Here's a post from chart analyst Lead Grade Crypto. XRP short-term target. Close above $2.35. Bullish. Close above $2.42. Super bullish. So there's a couple short-term targets, and he's still very optimistic we're going to be hitting double-digit price action for XRP this cycle as well. Best time in history right now. It's the best. I mean, you could say November, but it's actually more obvious now. So it depends on like what's risk reward if you factor it all in. Still, I'd argue like this really is the best time in history to be an XRP holder. It really is. What a freaking blessing. Jumping into crypto and specifically buying XRP, it's the best financial move that I've made in my entire life. By a lot. My God. And I know I'm not the only one here. The guys, you guys that have been here a few years, you see what crypto does for you once you hit a bull cycle. It's just, you accumulate for a few years, maybe you're down for, like I was down, I mentioned this in a video recently, I was down on XRP and pretty much all my crypto for the first few years, which is normal, and I actually expected that because it was an accumulation range. We had just come off the biggest run in history to that point in 2017. And then in 2018, started really getting serious about accumulating more. And throughout 2019 and 2020, it was a lot of up and down, but mostly down. But that was fine. Again, I expected that. I understand. I understood then market cycles. At least that bare bones aspect of it at a minimum. I'll tell you that. And sure enough, I just held and kept accumulating, and then another cycle happened, and then it was worth a fortune compared to what I paid. Now I'm at my third cycle here. It just works, folks. So even if you're brand new, it's just like, don't freak out. It's pretty normal. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say, all right? That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.